Hello, good evening. Welcome back to the Drummond channel on Monday, November 6th. And I'm going to start out with the introductory level software, and I want to highlight an element of the methodology that I can see right now, and that we're looking at monthly, weekly, and daily information, and we have three different kinds of market action taking place in those three different time frames, and how the Drummond methodology uses information to pick off that what we call the invisible or hidden market structure and make it visible. So over here on the left is the monthly, and this monthly bar, that's a congestion entrance bar, pushed down in another monthly bar down below the PL dot. The jury is still out on this one because it's early in the month, but if this bar closes down below the PL dot, then that is the definition of a trend on the monthly basis, and the market's trending down. For now, what we're focused on is this monthly PL dot. We got a long way away from the PL dot on this bar, and now we've run back up towards the PL dot, and we're curious to see if this is going to be strong resistance or if it's going to be breaking. And with the weekly chart, this is really weekly congestion action so far. This bar right here, this bar right here is congestion entrance to the upside, and then we get a close down below the PL dot, expanded to congestion a little bit, and now back up above the PL dot, and this bar is it going to exact? Ugh. Okay. Take two. Good evening and welcome back to the Drummond channel. I'm going to start out with the S&P 500 and using the introductory level of the software. And I use the weekly time focus, and that's our focus market. And I want to look at the monthly higher time period and the lower time period daily. And the interesting thing here is it appears that we have three different things taking place in the same market. If you look on the left, the monthly trend looks like it's moving down. PL dots have rolled over and pushing down, and we're getting up towards a PL dot refresh, or have a PL dot refresh underway. The weekly has basically been in congestion the last couple of weeks, and on the daily chart you see this market screaming higher. So we have a trend run up to the upside on daily. We have weekly congestion, and we have the makings of a downward trend on the monthly chart. So with this weekly time focus, we're pushing up towards this resistance area, that monthly PL dot, and this upper boundary of this box here, that's the confines of congestion on the weekly chart. So we expect there will be some resistance up in this area as well. And the daily chart, the lower time period, as we say, is going to lead the way. It leads the dance. And what can we glean from the daily chart to show us whether or not this area on the weekly chart is starting to accumulate resistance, is holding, or is it going to start to break, and we're going to see these prices push higher? So for the daily chart, we can draw in a couple of Drummond lines here. This is a 5-1 down. This is a 5-2 down. And we've got a cluster of resistance right up in this area. And so tomorrow, the price range and seeing how this plays out is going to give us an indication. If this area holds and the market turns down, then we can perhaps look for this weekly chart to start to cycle back down towards its wrong indicator. See the prices start to push back down towards the PL dot. So again, what this gives us for tomorrow, for Tuesdays, is something a little bit above 4,400, and all the way down here, a low, probably not below 4,350. So the range, about a 70-point range, 60-point range. And watch the lower time periods. Watch the 30-minute, watch the 5-minute. When the market gets into either one of these areas, gets down here or gets up here, and see how prices are reacting to that area and whether that area is holding or if it's breaking. And we have a lot more tools for the paid version of the software that will help do this for you. It'll put all this information so you don't have to do it by hand. There are several videos in the educational playlist that deal with that, and might make that another subject of another video. But for now, this is just an overview of looking at what we see here on the monthly chart appears to be trending down. In the middle is the weekly is in congestion, and the daily chart is moving higher in a trend run up. Basically, three different kinds of market action in three different time periods. And looking where those higher time period support or resistance levels are and seeing how the lower time period reacts to them, that's taking that hidden market structure and making it visible. I promised yesterday we would talk about the yen. This one's near and dear to my heart after 16 plus years of living in Japan, and I've been on both sides of this one where it was 87 yen to the dollar and it was 140 yen to the dollar, and depending on who's paying you, who's writing your paycheck, one's dramatically different than the other. So over here on the left is the yearly chart, and we're broken through the nearby support area on a yearly chart. And these are the zone structures. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so we've broken through the bottom of zone 1, and we're in what Ted calls the outer darkness. And so there's not a whole lot of support left out here on a yearly basis. And when we get over here in the middle onto the quarterly chart, we're in zone 2, and we start to see some areas where zone 2 and zone 5 are support or resistance areas for markets. Prices tend to move fairly often between those two areas. So the quarterly is in nearby support, and we're in zone 2. So perhaps we can start looking for some support to build in this area. And then we look over here on the right on the monthly chart, and we see a little bit of that happening as the monthly has moved into the envelope, up above the envelope bottom into the envelope itself on the monthly chart, and we could be starting to see a monthly PL dot refresh. And again, on the left, this is the monthly chart, and it's just showing you a little different view of how far we've fallen from support levels. And you can start to make the case that the PL dots here on the monthly chart are starting to flatten out a little bit. It might have more to do with the scaling that I'm using to bring in all these indicators. When you look in the middle here at the weekly, you can see that the weekly trend is starting to move. The PL dots are starting to swing and bottomed out. This move down that held in the farther out support area, and should this move hold in this area on close, and that's what's called the nearby support area, that would meet the definitions of an exhaust, and the price is exhausted down into the farther out, and we've had a PL dot refresh on the weekly last week, and it's starting to push back down this week. So we can look at this weekly chart and kind of pick off the expected high and low using the daily information. On a weekly basis, I define this expected range somewhere between the weekly 1-1 high, which is just above 68, and there's the 1-1 low, and that's 66.5. So the upside target, and also you have the envelope top and the envelope bottom. So that's the weekly range, and then let's see how that's unfolding on the daily chart. And the daily chart, you can see that the weekly PL dot held again, is pushing down. And now the bar forming for Tuesday is underneath the PL dot, so we're expecting this a little bit of push down, but there's also all this support down here: monthly envelope bottom, weekly envelope bottom, and daily envelope bottom. So the daily range, now we can define that a little tighter as something like this, where we have 3 levels of support down below the market, and then we have the daily envelope top and the daily 1-1 high. And should things get crazy, then the upside farther out target would be the weekly envelope top. So that's it for the yen. I'll keep an eye on this and kind of post how this week is unfolding. I think just looking at this from this information that I see right here, this weekly 1-1 low, should it get down there, might be a good buying opportunity, because we're see a market react to that area, the stop down below the farther out from last week, and seeing if this is hard to see, but this low this nearby support area, see if that holds for the week, and then maybe expect it. We're going to see prices start to come in on top of next week's PL dot and start to push higher. So I'll keep an eye on this and post anything that looks interesting. If you have any questions, if I've thoroughly confused you, please leave your comments or your questions in the comments section, and I'll get back to them. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you again next time.